Well, before,
Yeah,
let's,
salute.
Salute, toast, what's in Korean?
Kumbe.
That sounds civilized. Very civilized. That's funny. Well, is the idea tonight to throw out other ideas as well as this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Should
We're
we
gonna-
take this first?
Well, we're gonna go ahead and submit that,
Oh, okay.
and I figure we probably ought to submit like 3. Here's, I don't know, did you download the, you know, what the requirements?
I think I have it here. Also, I was suggesting maybe Joe, since he has his computer here, to go to your PolyAesthetic site. So, but at some point, we discussed that.
Yeah, I need
Yeah.
to do that still. I didn't do that.
I think as far as that polyaesthetic thing, there's only one thing out of that whole thing that would be possibly interesting, and that's just taking the Cartesian coordinate system out of it. Not saying anything about art or not saying anything about
I
science.
love that idea.
And just
Yeah.
take it and say the aesthetics of thinking over here, the aesthetics of direct experience over here, the aesthetics of purposelessness, the aesthetics of utilitarian function, the aesthetics requiring, or an expression requiring prowess of thinking, design, and then the other end, an expression requiring the prowess of physical.
Yeah, but I
Craft.
thought, you know, we could do, you could actually illustrate that with acts or tableaus.
You could put an act here, an act here, in this space, you could put
And I was thinking, we talked about this at some length last week. I just sort of tried to remember my notes a little bit. But you know, there's several ways you could do this. You could do this if you had sort of an arena-like space and have it on the floor, or at least delineated by colored light, because you have the 4 different colors. That's why I thought the picture looked good.
You know what I like though in those stretches is to also show non-discrete or continuous movements between the ideas, the poles of the ideas.
Well, you could have one group of, say, actors or dancers move through this
Oh, that's
space
interesting,
and change what they're doing.
I think that's what's really interesting. I had a long conversation with Michael Winkler in New York,
Yeah.
and you know, he feels a little uneasy because he doesn't know everybody, or he feels like he knows you guys because from the past, because he's
Interval.
you know, because of interval. But you guys, he doesn't know, so he's feeling a little timid to just jump in and, you know, interact with us somewhat. But one of the things that I thought was important that because I mentioned this polyaesthetic mapping thing.
Yeah.
At first he said that's just going to be too confusing because you're just going to have a hodgepodge of things going on and the audience is not going to be able to connect the dots and make everything work. And then a little later he says, but if you had like a theme or something, which is kind of what you're alluding to by saying that you've got, you know, a theme where they're doing it in one end of the room and they keep moving across, and then you see how it changes.
Yeah.
The aesthetics change through the space.
And I thought there's several ways you could do this. One if you had sort of an arena, so you have the space on the floor, people looking down on it. But you could do it on the stage. I think if you had the space projected on the wall behind it, and then as they move through it, it just lights up that section. You can do it with spotlights
That sounds
and
good.
stuff like that. I'm just trying to think of this physically stage it. We also talked about having an arena that actually have platforms so you could get the 3rd dimension, which is going to be, sight lines are going to be difficult in that. But I was thinking you can almost do it at a multi-level stage.
So you're talking about a dance sculptural
Maybe
dance.
a series, several, you know, half a dozen, maybe 8 or 10.
But it is, what would the audience see as a narrative?
Well, it doesn't have to be a narrative.
Okay.
It's an illustration of a concept. And I think it should be very clear, you know, what we're
But
illustrating.
that illustration would be a narrative.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's.
But I think, do people know what we're talking about? Because I think we can bring it up on the computer.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't even turn it on yet.
Oh, we'll just go to the board site and then bring up and go to site. So I think that would actually, you're
We can put it
interested,
right here. So
you're
it's
interested in
right.
spectacle, and I think this
After
thing
you- after you-
has the
there you go.
possibility.
The perspective.
of doing that.
Yeah.
And it also has, you know, some intellectual content to it, which is the thing. I was also thinking, there's a way of doing it, is audience,
Oh, really? You
audience
don't have
voting
racing?
on
No.
whether they think a certain group should be in a certain part of the
It should
space.
last the meeting though.
I'm not quite sure to do that, this is my, show
You
of hands.
could, you could do that too. You could have like maybe 4 or 5 different groups, and the audience vote on which one of them accomplished the task of illustrating
Yeah, yeah.
the
They're like,
aesthetics.
Who wants to be
Yeah.
a millionaire?
Well, that's kind of a lot of technology. You could just do it by, raising hand or voice.
Or a cell
vote.
phone?
Or cell phone, yeah. Bring your cell phone.
Oh, now that would be.
That's a clever idea, actually. I'm sort of
That is a good
technologically
idea.
inhibited. But yeah, I think that,
Agree,
yeah.
but disagree.
No, I think that's an
I don't know
excellent
how much that's been done of like everybody bring their 3Gs.
Well, they have them all on them.
You have wireless here, right?
You know, everybody's got
Yes.
them on them.
Is it open or do I need?
You need a password? Or do you have a computer? Or do you have another
Password
computer?
Something like Parrot Place, but just a minute. Oh.
73 Parrot Place?
Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Elizabeth,
Oh, I have it on mine.
what is the wireless,
Anyway, I just, it just things out this afternoon.
73?
I've got a really busy weekend. I spent yesterday teaching some artists some basic chemistry.
That's nice.
And one of them is a cyanotype artist, so he's used to doing blueprint type things. So we sort of expanded on the chemistry. And but I had some solutions, and they painted them on paper, then we'd spray them with the developer. It'd come out in red and blue,
Nice.
or blood red or purple. I'm trying to get one more color without something that's too
Well,
lethal.
it's possible that their thing will get accepted and ours rejected. We may end up
Now,
with them.
what is,
Yeah.
what
Well,
is
I've
Parrot
done
Place?
most of what I've done. I just did it as proof of concept. I said, look, propose to do the experimentation and get it. One thing I
So
want
find
to
Parrot Place.
Yeah, I saw that already. I'm already
one of the things I want to do is
I'm already on that.
have somebody go up where it says post no bills and slap on a piece
I
of
hope this
paper
works.
with this already pre-drawn in the chemicals. Then somebody else comes by with a squirt thing and sprays it, and DNA of creativity comes out in red and blue,
Yeah.
just to start it. Essentially, they're abstract painters.
Uh-huh.
And we've met down in the studio, but I've done really my part on it. I've done basic chemistry. Probably one more meeting with them, and they can write it.
It's interesting.
So I spent several hours yesterday with it. So,
Is this diagram there? Or, I mean, is there any drawing illustrations?
There's all sorts of stuff there.
yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see it because I was,
But it has the advantage, I think, two things. It's sort of maps out. I mean, you say polyaesthetic or human cognitive space or something in two different ways. One's in a circular, almost mandala-like argument thing, which is very detailed. But I noticed that, as you look at various things, different parts of it could be lit up, and that can be done with projection from a computer on the screen.
so
And then
experientially.
there's a quadrantial thing.
Uh-huh.
There's 2 axes. Well, he can explain it all.
So what
And
would
it's
be
also-
the experience for the audience?
Well, I think having various groups illustrate things, and also I think have a group, do one thing here, and then they move across. They bring out another aspect of human aesthetic perception by changing their act.
But they have to change the act because you have the aesthetics of, say, with the aesthetics of thinking
Yeah.
and purposelessness
Yeah.
over here, or this thinking and utilitarian function over here, which would be like technology. And then you move across
Yeah.
the space into purposelessness and direct experience, which is
Or different groups could do it. I'm just
No,
tossing
but
out
in there
ways
is
of
what
doing
would
it.
the experience of the audience be of the whole occasion?
Well, they're watching this.
yeah. We would have to come up with different, like you say, a narrative or
Yeah.
some sort of a what would like 5 different categories or topics or something, and
Yeah.
where you could run through it.
Like mini short stories? Or?
Well,
Possibly.
if you look at this, I've basically taken 25 different
Yeah.
aesthetic expressions
Yeah.
and
I don't
mapped
have
them
it
in
yet,
this.
Arthur.
Yeah.
I'm not connected yet.
You have a computer in the back, don't you, John?
Yeah, I have one
I
back.
should have brought my
We
Does it have to be,
we could use that. but we
was
can't-
recharging.
we
Does it have to be uppercase? Yeah, maybe we should.
No,
No?
We need a fairly big screen that shows color too.
Well, this will have the color if I can get connected. but
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
connected yet.
Wait, do you have the passcode?
Elizabeth? We're having a little bit of trouble. Are these uppercase letters?
No, I told you when I gave it to you that they're lowercase and I printed them in uppercase and now
It's not case sensitive.
Okay. Well,
No, it'll be case sensitive. Every password is case sensitive that I've ever run across.
I don't think
yeah, you know, I'm in Linux, so
Oh, well.
things don't
Oh,
always
well.
work.
Let's go in the back.
Linux takes time. And then, well,
Yeah, I don't know that I want to wear my battery down trying to.
I have a couple
establish
ideas
an internet
eventually to
connection.
throw into the hat. Yes, ideas. And
Okay.
one very similar to yours, but it's not quite the same. I've been working on this anyway, but it's, maybe I mentioned this before, is that to come up with some 3-4D models of of how we think and how different people think. You know,
What do you mean by 4D?
well, okay, well, let me explain that.
Okay.
People's, origins of their beliefs. All of us are, where our beliefs come from, whether we know it or not. The opinions that are made out of that, the ideas, the concepts that are generated, the general world views that are often just really threads, mixed threads of many different ideas that you can trace back philosophically or scientifically or attitudinally or experientially or culturally in that time. And what would be fun is to make models of people's conceptual systems. Okay, well, I was thinking of this from philosophy, and I said we were talking about
Like a belief system.
and you're right, belief system, and also the origins. Many ideas people have, they're not really sure of the philosophical origins of them. And so what would be fun to do is show these, we could all be the guinea pigs in the beginning of all our different ideas or thought systems, and then have a way in a model to say, okay, what if you put in this different idea in one of the origins, or modified it? Then what would the concept look like? And it's almost kind of like imagine this is that you have somebody's head, okay, and then all these ideas coming in, threads of ideas coming in this way, and a big bubble up here of what that picture actually looks like, okay? In other words, whether it's Epicurean or it's Aristotelian or with it, all the mix, okay? And so then you take one of these threads down here and you go, beep, let's put in something like John Stuart Mill or and then see what happens to the thought bubble.
Bertrand Russell.
Right, or something like that. But meaning this is that it would function in two ways. It would show
Osama bin Laden.
right. No, but it would show one is that the models of mind and paradigms of conception that people have and are carrying with them, and also show how we might play with those or add to them in
Almost
different
like a
influences.
scale or something.
Well, it's an interesting idea. I'm trying to think how you present this.
Well, what we would do is
I'm not getting
it would be
connected.
something where
Let's just go use every computer.
it would be
Yeah.
something where the public could go in and then put in their ideas. Okay, and also search for the origins of their beliefs. Go back and we might have some suggestive keys because a lot of people aren't sure of the origins of their beliefs particularly, or how far back they go. And
Or do we
then-
really know?
or that they really know.
Or
right?
no, do we really know? I mean, we've got to put this knowledge into this machine. Or,
Well, that would be the fun. I've already started mapping some of this on just on sketches.
I mean, you could have sort of interactive computer program which just shows up on the screen.
Right.
That certainly could be done.
But then the fun of that also too would be to come up with really oddball and experimental idea fusions. For instance, like you just said, some of them odd or whatever. I mean, but as if you took
It's like if St. Paul died on the had died of his epileptic fit on the road to Damascus. So the Christianity never left Judaism.
right.
So
Or-
Would
everybody,
you have a giant head? Sort of
Well, I
like
was
a
thinking
the old
self-portrait.
phrenology thing with all of the different parts?
the
No,
only
no,
thing
you
is
have
how
to
do
have
you,
each person's head.
question is, how do you express ideas without using text?
Well, here's the thing.
I
too,
mean, that's
is that-
something that I don't see in
Well,
this.
there's visual languages oral languages,
Yes, I know, but I mean, to express philosophical ideas.
Well,
that would be
here's
difficult,
You
yeah.
know,
no, it's not.
Animated characters maybe, but.
No, it's not. We're in this sense is let's take an idea that you just let's philosophically graph the idea that you just mentioned just
okay,
now.
okay.
Let's put it in Socratic terms. Okay, and say there's a Platonic. I mean, origins in Plato there. Also, you have a strong Aristotelian bent, from science in terms of the categorical and the percentage ratios between Plato and Aristotle in your thinking, is different than other people's thinking. But it's, what you do is you show the thread of what do you call it? It's pretty easy to bullet list the history of ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of, and also to see where we get what ones we're using at particular, or which different people are using different ones at different times, and what their strengths, what's amplified, or resonating, mostly in combinations. And
Yeah, but I don't see how to present this to an outsider.
well, there's what we do is we have we first use ourselves as guinea pigs. Okay, as we put up your belief systems, yours, mine, and yours, and also the origins of our belief systems.
What if you don't know what it is?
Well, we have a chop list where
Okay.
you could say, here's where my Presbyterianism came from, or where's my.
But I think a lot of times you have ideas, you have no idea where you got them.
Exactly.
And how old they are.
But I think those are trackable. That's what I'm saying. Or at least they're expressible. They're not mysteries. Because usually, what do you call it? Frame of mind, opinion, even, perceptual, what do you call it? Grids are based on the authorization of previous concepts.
Yeah.
And so the thing is
I
to,
still don't see how
It's
to.
gonna be hard to track,
I don't
too.
see how to track or present this. I mean, you've got Wikipedia, there's a very good way of tracking where ideas come from.
But, personally, I wouldn't be able to track things. I mean, most of the ideas come from books that I've read.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not on the internet.
No.
Not in that kind of detail.
No.
And an example is I've always thought that meaning came from the context, not the word. You can put the same word in different contexts and the meaning changes. So the context is where the meaning comes from, as opposed to the word. Well,
Not entirely, but partially, I agree partially. Yeah.
whether you
Yeah.
agree with it or not,
Yeah.
the idea, the point I wanted to make is that idea
Yeah.
came from me reading a book about Duchamp. That was an idea Duchamp
Oh,
had
yeah,
said.
of course.
And so,
Yeah.
but I absorbed it when I was in my early 20s
Yeah.
and completely forgot where it came from. Because it became my own.
Yeah.
And then I was looking through one of my old books, just browsing. I saw it. I went, "That's where that came from."
you just identified the origin.
Yeah, I identified the origin. That's right. But had I not gone back and reread that section of that book, I would never have been able to figure that out.
Well, the other and easier.
And another question is, then suppose you hadn't read that book. That's what, so you break that string. Then what do you think? I mean, I don't know how you present this.
Yeah.
Even to you, let alone the rest of us. That's the only problem I have with your thing.
Yeah, I could have got that thing. John could have read the book and then told me about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then,
No, but here's
Or maybe you
the,
never
no way
heard
you'd
of it,
ever
or you
remember.
never heard of it.
the value of the idea, though, is to have a photograph, though, of the frame. Okay, let me put it this way. In the thinking cycles in people usually are fairly rhythmic, okay? I mean, throughout the thinking process usually uses sort of one frame and another frame and another frame and another frame, and then it goes back again to, you can sort of track them rhythmically, or, how do you call it? Timbre-wise. In other words, what the coloration is, okay, of people's thinking processes are. And those structures are interesting to modify, or to elevate, or to calibrate, or to evolve, or morph, and stuff like
Well, now
that.
you're giving me a cool idea. To translate your whole theory here of thinking into music, because you're using musical terms to describe it, rhythm and timbre, and
Well, as I said, you know, our thinking cycles, our perceptual cycles are individual and idiosyncratic, but they're also really based on heritage, you know,
And
the history of
genetics.
thought. Well, in the history of thought.
And genetics.
Yeah.
I mean, our brains are wired to think in certain ways, not the content, but the mode and the mode.
But see, the only value of new thinking is that if it gets into your brain and it does some
Yeah.
kind of transformation.
Yeah, but
Otherwise, it's useless
I
information.
still don't see how to implement this.
Well, two ways. One is, first of all, to set up models where you can sort of put in the CD or whatever, the DVD, and
Yeah.
you can experiment with your own or friends' brains. Or it
You
could
have
be
to
sort of
watch
set
that
up
back.
as
Here,
kiosks,
let me cut one.
you know, in a kiosk situation where,
Kind of go in
you know, you
do it like that.
this sounds
Little
silly,
pieces
but
on
like a
the
fortune
You see how the knife
teller.
blade is? Take a look.
You know, have some assistance in
Yeah, okay.
downloading
It's only on
your
one
belief
side.
systems.
Yeah, I see.
So you have to
And
kind of
you're,
do it like
you know,
I still think
It
most people are
doesn't go
perspective
straight down.
I see.
about their belief systems. I think a lot of people feel their belief systems are very personal. They don't even want to discuss it with
A lot of
someone.
people don't think. They don't want to. That's
well,
true.
this is the whole
They-
point of the idea.
Yes, it's like Bertrand Russell said, most people would sooner die than think, and most will.
I had that experience at lunch today.
Yeah,
I have a friend
Oh.
that I had lunch with. He's a Marine,
yeah.
and he was in the Marine Corps. And we started talking about coincidence, and he says, I don't even think about that stuff. That doesn't make. I'm much simpler than that. I don't believe in coincidences. And then, of
But it
course,
sounds like Occam's the razor.
but I asked him if he was a Christian, and he said, yeah. I said, well, it's pretty difficult to be a Christian and not think about coincidence. You know, coincidences, is this God's will or
Yeah.
this business? And he says, well, I just don't think about that stuff. You know, he just kind of accepts the role as being a Christian and doesn't really, you know.
Yeah, but that's a fundamental part of Christianity too, to just accept on faith and not think about stuff and not question things.
That's true.
Well, that's true for
here's-
all
Of all
faiths.
religions,
That's the
not just-
definition of faith.
of all religions, not just Christianity. but
Well, that would
And
be
not
an
even just religion either. I mean, there's
Right.
processes that I use in engineering
All beliefs.
where we have philosophical differences between each other, and it's like I had faith that this particular process would eventually work its way out, whereas other guys said no, it'll never work, and and it did work out. So I was pleased with that. But I still have people
Yeah.
saying that it won't work, even when you show them.
I think, in fact, you have to run on automatic most of the day. You'd never get anything done. You'd be paralyzed
Well,
if
most
you
of
had
our
to think
thinking-
about everything. In fact, there's one of Jack Vance's book. There's a curse of total enlightenment,
Yeah. No.
and it paralyzes people. They know everything, and they can't move. They
Can't do anything.
They can't do anything.
Totally like what is that?
It's
What do you mean by that?
well, you just know everything,
Everything,
and you can't process it. So you just overload. You just freeze.
You can't do anything.
You can't do
because
anything, yeah.
You know
Well,
everything.
that's not enlightenment, though.
It would really, yeah.
Certainly not from a Buddhist.
I suggest
Well, no.
we go to my computer
Yeah,
and
let's
take
look
a,
at it. Let's
and
look at it.
bring the camera. So we can actually, because it doesn't matter, our faces don't matter, we'll just get the camera on this thing. and it'll-
You know, I posted that stuff about apparently people get more creative after a small amount of alcohol.
Oh, I love that dialogue.
Yeah.
What do you call it? That duet you were having with Patricia?
Yeah.
I like the thing that Patricia added about being critical seems to be more fruitful than praising.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Well, there's
So I
a,
said, well, that idea sucks.
So did I.
well, there's a question about brainstorming, whether people are really better in a group or whether they just go off by themselves for a while and then get back
And
together.
that arrow, can't, oh,
I
there
think
it
it
is.
depends on the person,
Depends on the group of people.
whether you're
too.
male or female, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, for some reason, most intellectual groups have been almost always male, or mostly male. And it's unfortunate, but
John, you got to remember this is being taped.
I'm not saying why, they just said it's unfortunate that's the case.
Hey, wait a minute.
There you go.
But it's true, I mean,
We have to have freedom here.
Okay, do you remember when this,
you go to Facebook and then just go to non-12.
oh,
9-12?
Not 12, not 12, sorry.
Not 12, yeah.
We've given up our privacy here.
Yeah.
It's totally compromised.
Okay.
The best ideas are hidden.
Oh, this is
sure
our little thing.
Okay, now go down the list here. Down, because we posted it.
Posted on the board.
Yeah, okay, and then we'll have to find it, but just go down.
Finally dragged me on Facebook. All these people are trying to ask
I'm
me
not
if
sure
they can
if
get
that's the
on
right
it.
one.
Saying no.
No one knows who you are.
Totally secret.
Will be that, no one knows who that is.
I love that picture, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's actually music for the deaf. There's a whole series
Okay,
of
now
those
how do we?
that I
Just
use
go
in
drop-
concerts.
Slide
and
down,
musicians
do we
play
find
with
it?
them.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. No. That's,
No, it's farther down, next one down.
They're all different
Actually, a picture of it.
musical,
Going down, I posted
It
that.
looked like a
There
man
it
and a
is, there it
woman
is.
dancing.
So go
Yeah,
to
it
that
is.
page.
but they're different dances. You know, some are classical, some are rock and roll.
And now go down it, okay.
Stand it out
I
as
didn't
big
see
as
this,
as
yeah.
you
Let-
can.
Well, I
Let Kaz take
saw this,
over.
but I didn't see diagrams.
Hit the button there and make it fill the screen, because it's big.
No, yes, no, I saw this. I
Well, there's
really
two,
read
there's
this.
two
whole
of them
thing.
though.
click on this.
Yeah.
No, I really read this thing.
There's two diagrams there, there's that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that's basically the three-dimensional space
Right.
that we were talking about.
No, I read this pretty closely. Yeah, I did,
Okay,
yeah.
well, we need to look at the diagram, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Because that,
And that too, I
okay, but that's the basic grid, but then you expanded it into,
What's the
You scroll-
antithesis of direct experience?
yeah.
Direct,
Scroll down.
Aesthetics
Thinking.
of thinking.
Thinking. Okay.
and
So I'm standing
so
in
if we
front of it.
scroll down, we can start to see how it kind of takes form, and we don't need to read anything. I'll
Just go to the
explain it.
next diagram.
So there's the three-dimensional space there as well, kind of in a cube. You have different zones, 1B, 2A, whatever, which we can talk about later, or actually you can even ignore it, but let's go ahead and scroll down.
That looks like a stage to me.
Yes, that's basically what John's saying, is we take a space and turn a like a warehouse or something into a three-dimensional, into that space right there.
Right, yeah.
Okay, now.
So now if
more-
we're taking two sides, now we're looking into the cube from two different sides. It's
Right.
flattened out. Keep
Okay,
scrolling
keep
down.
scrolling down.
There you go. Now,
Okay, now he's actually mapped things out into that. And that's what I was thinking, is we set up a stage, or a space like that with those colors, and we can do that with lighting.
so if you pick any one of those little icons, it'll take you someplace. So,
Okay, let's
Okay, see, this I didn't see.
Yeah.
well, actually, now we're into the main window.
That I think is very clear though.
Deep throat.
That's the pornography. I've got I try to come up with as many different aesthetic expressions that I could, whether it's art or not. I mean, like Bruce Lee's best moves, my last birthday cake, deep throat. You know, we've got all this music here.
Back.
My wedding ring. There's John Cage's 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And then it maps across into this space.
So you
for
put
the
all
third
these
dimension.
icons on the space.
I put all those in. If
Okay.
you pick one of those icons, it takes you to another screen where
Beethoven.
you go ahead and pick that.
Why not?
I love, there's only 1 minute of that piece. You
Go
like
ahead.
Mahler?
You only like the first, you only
right
only
here.
like the first
Yeah.
minute of 4:33?
Well, maybe it's just thinking.
First 30 seconds.
Okay.
Verse 33
I don't
seconds.
see that. Oh, yeah. Here we
Did you
go.
say that a cartoon about John Cage carolers while standing
I'll try
with
it
their mouth
differently.
shut?
Yeah, I saw
How
that.
about,
Nellie Ginsburg reading it out. Okay.
I
guess
like the
maybe
as
the
yet
link's broken.
unperformed coda of that piece.
So
Right.
There.
he
Okay,
clicked
this
on
is
the Howl by Allen Ginsberg.
Yeah.
Now these are what I call aesthetic rings. The first aesthetic ring is whether it's something conceptual, internal, or natural, external, nature. In Ginsberg, I don't have anything. To me, I don't relate, and this is just how I relate to it. You would relate to it differently. So I'm not trying to dictate how
Sure,
you're
yeah,
supposed to relate to it. And this is the colors and the percentage of importance. To me, Ginsberg, the Howl is very important textually, verbally, and poetic. This is the linguistic ring. Then we have a science ring, whether it's applied science, natural science, formal science, or social science. I think it affects the social science, okay? What sense,
This is,
the
by the way,
sensory ring.
taste right here.
Yes, that's taste. This is the sensory ring.
What do you
Oral,
mean by- okay,
visual,
I've
olfactory,
seen- you showed
tactile.
me that- you
So
showed
you
us
have the
this in-
sensory ring, and then this
Yeah,
is
right.
the intentional ring, whether it was pedagogical, spiritual, political, sexual, commercial, or personal
But
power.
what could be interesting is we could present something on the stage, have that projected on the back, have the audience respond on their iPhones, and then have it light up as to how they thought about it.
You mean like a vote?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an interesting
Yeah.
idea.
And then, but what concepts would we take?
those concepts.
Well,
Like
that
Allen Ginsberg?
Yeah.
They won't know, the kids won't know who that is.
Well,
These aren't kids, these are adults.
if you scroll down,
Yeah.
now we could pick an aesthetic that is more popular.
Yeah,
Then in here I've got, the
Right,
howl too. It'll
Yeah.
take you to.
yeah.
Well, how long is it?
Okay, then here's the thing.
How long is the
How long
howl?
is what?
The howl.
Oh, I don't know. We're not going to
It's a
listen.
You
to
play,
actually
it's a
read it.
play.
Oh,
It's
it's
a
a
long
poem.
poem, it's a long
Okay,
poem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I've
whole-
seen the best minds of my generation.
Someone wrote a parody, I growl for gruel.
So
But we can pick shorter things and do multiple.
Let's go back.
Multiple, I was thinking
Yeah.
multiple tableaus or
Right,
sets.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go back one more.
And have them do it in that space and have them judged on this space.
Now look how I mapped it.
Yeah.
Allen Ginsberg's reading of the Howl. I mapped it as closer to direct experience than the expression of thinking. Yet there is some thinking, because if it was just pure direct experience, I'd have it up here.
Right, right.
So there is some thinking in it. So I moved it this direction.
Yeah.
I think it's purposeless. I think it's a little bit more on the purposeless side than a purposeful side. In
For
the
you.
yes, for me. This is
Yeah.
the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And then in the third dimension, whether it was design or craft, I have it more
Can I ask a
toward
dumb
the
question here?
design side. Go ahead.
When, the summation of categorizing all this, okay? What's the end game of what you've come out with of
What I found the end game
Yeah,
for
for
me,
you.
what is it gave me a sense. I
Yeah.
started noticing how certain things cluster in certain areas of this space.
and what would you
Certain
define those
aesthetics.
as?
Well, see, that's where you don't like it. To
No,
me,
no, I didn't say that.
but
I'm
to
saying
me,
that-
this space here seems more like fine art.
Oh, I
okay?
see, okay.
And then if you go down this space, this corner here, to me, it's more of technology.
Uh-huh.
So it seems to me that technology is directly opposite of fine art. At least in this
So
space it is.
that's
or
the
it-
macro
it-
category then, as you would
to,
define
to
one.
me, this is the,
Lesser art, more technology,
this, a
less
screwdriver.
more science, less
Let's see what it's.
physical
But it'd be interesting to
intelligence.
see how the audience perceives certain
Yeah.
things that we do.
The reason I'm asking the dumb question is from an audience point of view is what you would, what's the thrill of the experience of doing this?
Right.
And what we're gonna get as an
well,
experience.
that's where you come in, because you like the spectacle and creating the experience. So
Well, it's not that so much. It's just that I was asked the question is why would I go to something? Or why would I be involved in something before I would ask somebody else to be involved in it? Okay.
Yeah,
Because I wouldn't invite
To
an
me-
audience if I wasn't interested in the same, or there's a payoff for some
this
reason.
there was a lot of work for me to put this
I
together,
can see, yeah.
and for me to put that much effort into it, I had to be experiencing something of value. To me, what I got out of it is I have a good sense of how aesthetics, how I can define aesthetics verbally, because this space helps me
Yeah.
put it into terms. I have a very good feeling of my own understanding of what fine art is and what fine art is not. Some things that people call, like conceptual art, people call that art. In my world, it's not. It's more science than
But
it
do
is
you want
art.
the audience to experience that?
I want the audience to experience not what I experience. I want them to have their own experience.
So in other words, it's a judgment tool, you're saying?
Well, I think
In a way, it
I think
is.
it's two things. I think one is the audience will experience the various tableaus or productions on this thing.
Yeah.
And those are people who feel analytically, who would like to understand more about the experience they just had, can take part in this. And they get the excitement of understanding, which for me I find that very exciting. That's one of the reasons I do what I do. I want
Well,
to
see,
understand things as well as create things. But
So,
so
in
I
other
think
words,
there's two levels there.
we're giving the audience a set of tools then.
A set of tools
For-
for them to have a better consciousness of
How they
of-
perceive
of
things.
how they perceive aesthetics.
Yeah.
Okay, but then what you're saying is that comes through judgment,
Through
right?
their judgment
That's
in
what I
this
mean.
space.
Okay,
yes.
in this particular tool.
Well, but
Okay,
they also
so-
have the direct experience. But those people who, feel more analytical, more what you say judgmental is the term, but I think people who wish more enlightenment and understanding can do the rest thing. They'll come away with the feeling that they understand what they've just experienced better.
And then there are the
And
other
how
people.
so? By verbally categorizing these
yeah.
things into particular, saying
yeah.
it's this shade
And
of this
also,
color.
and also the fact there may be distance between them and, say, the majority of the people there. They may find that their aesthetic experience is actually very different than that of the majority.
And this isn't verbal either.
So here would be a fun staging idea then, is to show the intense difference in people. Okay, where there's one person would look at this completely this way, and you're looking at it completely this way, and take an audience, photograph an audience of saying, this is what I'm thinking, and show the collective diversity or collective
Okay.
fusion.
Well, that you can do by flashing, I mean, if we have the technology to do that, not only do we take the average of this thing and show that, but we can show individual
Right.
judgments on it
Right.
fairly fast. Remember, this thing can't last days.
Yeah, right.
If we have an audience of, say, 100 people, or 200, or whatever it is, we might want to take a sampling of individuals just to show some of the variation on it.
And what content would you use? Like
Well, that's up to-
howl or
You could
No.
use, there's
Music, acting.
25 pieces of.
how about Madonna's thing in the
Exactly.
Super
How about the Ponzi scheme?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ponzi schemes
I mean,
on there,
Or we could generate our own.
You can generate your,
Right.
exactly,
Yeah,
generate
yeah.
your own.
Yeah,
Just
typically
so
We
we
could
could
have the Mars play be one of them.
Symphony
Mahler.
number 8.
Yeah, Mahler.
Exactly.
For Schoenberg.
Exactly.
I just had an argument with Brian over Schoenberg.
Oh, good
We're
luck.
still speaking.
I had,
Mainly because I just, he never backs down, so I just
No.
challenged him and then fuck it,
I had about 2 years of arguments
Let me
with
think
Brian
about
over
it.
Schoenberg
I mean, he just-
until I finally just gave
completely
up.
asinine
There
about
must
it.
be a way to.
I mean, Schoenberg actually understood basic musicianship. I mean, he taught
Right. Yeah.
traditional harmony. He wrote operettas before he wrote late romantic music, and before he did 12-tone thing.
Right.
I mean, he knew what the fuck he was doing. Hot Shade Brian. Anyway, sorry.